right, with me today is Marcel Dorff. Everybody knows him, the man that breaks the fights. And today we're doing some best bets for UFC San Antonio, March 25th. Chito Vera, Corey Sandhagen. But before we get to that, Marcel, you just broke some massive fight news. 2 fights in a row. We got Daniel Rodriguez, Ian Gary, and then we have Arman Suzukian and Renato Money Moicano. Bro, what bangers?
Yeah, great fights, man. I not really broke it myself, It's like I confirmed it, but
Sure.
yeah, it's those are
Marcel tweets.
it's great fight. I think definitely, obviously, Tarukian against Moicano is great. It's signed now, so that's good. And yeah, Gary against Rodriguez. I mean, Ian Gary asked already before the Song Kanan fight to get a step up in competition. They don't want to give it been back then, and now he gets it. So I feel like if he wants to reach the top 15, he has to get past Daniel Rodriguez. And it's a tough task. We'll see where how far he really is in the division, and I think it's a fun fight, man. It's a fun fight.
Some of my buddies in the betting chat were in, Mikey and Mathis. They're both saying they're arguing because one of them's like, "Oh, Ian's gonna piece him up, be all precise," and then the other one's saying Daniel Rodriguez is gonna clip him and knock him out. So yeah, man, that's a good fight right there. And then Arman Suzukian getting that top 5 shot hopefully soon because he's the man.
He's amazing, dude. I mean, yeah.
So UFC San Antonio this weekend, Chito Vera, Sandhagen. I guess let's start with that fight because I have 1, 2, 3 singles and then a parlay I'm going to get to. And at the end, I'll ask you about your picks. But right off the bat, main event, dude, I'm all over. I am all over Sandhagen in this matchup, minus 175 against Chito Vera. And let me explain myself a little bit here because Chito Vera is on a mean streak. Great fighter, one of the most ruthless finish chasers in the MMA. Reminds me a lot of Roman Dolidze in that aspect of late. And it's just he's so dangerous to bet against. But at these odds with Sandhagen under a minus 200, being as precise and technical and smart and well-rounded as he is, I'm not sure Chito Vera is going to be able to find the finish like he likes to do. And I think Sandhagen is going to win the majority of the 5 rounds. So, man, minus 175 right now, BetMGM. I gotta go with the favorite in Sandhagen. Do you agree?
Actually, I do. So I hear many people are on Marlon Chito Vera, and it makes sense. He his wins are more louder. You know what I mean? It's like it makes more buzz. The Font win where he knocked him down several times. He actually got outstruck in the fight, which is crazy, but he landed the more damaging shots and knocked him down many times. So he won the fight against Dominic Cruz. I think Cruz was actually doing very well against him until Vera knocks him out with that head kick and ended Cruz at that night. And you gotta break down these fights like not just by way of finish, but by in total. If you look at the Frankie Edgar fight, it was 1-1 going into the third round, I think, and it was close until he knocked Frankie out. Yeah, oh yeah, great. Until he knocked Frankie out. And we got also the Jose Aldo fight where he lost because of the wrestling of Jose Aldo. So the thing is, like, I think he's on a 4-fight win streak right now. Marlon Vera, he's looking really good, But Sandhagen, I think stylistically, Sandhagen is a horrible fight for him for some reason because Sandhagen loves to take, knows how to hold the distance, picks his shots, is very technical with his shots. I think Marlon Vera needs to finish the fight to win the fight. You know what I mean? In this against Sandhagen. And Sandhagen, if he is more, how do you say that? If he is patient and he keeps his distance, he picking his shots, he can win the fight. And I think Sandhagen is able to definitely listen, man. Sandhagen will get some shots to the head for sure from Marlon Vera, but I think he can take them, And I think overall, Sandhagen gets a decision win at the end of the day. So, yeah, it's, man, as much as I like Marlon Vera and I hope for him he gets the win because I think he's on the deserving way on a title shot, I think Sandhagen gets back on track and gets his own way to the top 3. And I'm taking Sandhagen via decision here.
I agree, man. And Sandhagen by decision on BetMGM is plus 100. So that's looking tasty. And a lot of people forget that TJ Dillashaw fight with Sandhagen.
Yeah.
I thought Sandhagen won that fight. And I thought he was one fight away from a title, and then he had to backtrack, and he's working his way back. So, yeah, I think we'll be reminded this weekend
I
who
feel
he really is.
Sandhagen had really one real off day in the octagon was against Aljamain Sterling, against the
Yep.
champ. And all these others, there's those two losses against Dillashaw and Jan. I think he lost to Jan 3-2, I think 3-2 or 4-1, one of the two, but it was close, It wasn't like blowout fight.
Yeah.
And against TJ, I agree. I had him winning against TJ, but he didn't got the fight. But after it, he got it sounds weird to say he got lucky somebody got injured, but it's pretty much that because TJ got injured and he went into the interim title fight against Jan. So, yeah.
And I mean, just an incredible main event regardless. Can't wait to watch it
sure.
go down. My next bet here, I interviewed both of these guys this week, which is why I'm choosing to bet on this fight. And I think this is going to be a scrap and a half. Steven Peterson, Lucas Alexander. But that being said, I think that scrap, that fire, that extreme pace, and I'm not sure the word I'm looking for, like volatility, the violence Steven Peterson brings to a fight, I think it's going to be his downfall in this one against Alexander. Steven said in our interview, he said, hey, man, I'm going to bring this fight to him. I'm going to come in with extreme pace. I'm going to come heavy, throwing hard, a lot of pressure, and I'm going to smother him. Oppositely, Lucas Alexander said he doesn't like that kind of fight. So he's not going to let that happen. And he's going to be very precise, smart, and work against Steven Peterson's weaknesses. Out of those two answers, I feel a little bit more confident in the younger Lucas Alexander, who, from what we have seen, is very precise and has only lost in the UFC is a short notice fight against an absolute dog. So I'm going to take Lucas Alexander plus 125 as an underdog over Steven Peterson. What say you, my friend?
Yeah, man. Sorry, I'm laughing because you were talking about smothering. Do you know the song the Bad Touch from the Bloodhound Gang?
I'm not by the title, but I know the Bloodhound Gang, so probably.
There is a sentence in that song. They say, "I want you smothered, want you covered like my Waffle House has browns." That's what I was thinking about.
Steven
Sorry.
Peterson's going to Waffle House, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, on a serious note, I think it will be a close fight, to be honest, man. The thing is with Lucas Alexander, he came on short notice into the UFC, remember, and he lost quickly to Joe Anderson Brito, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard to say anything about that fight because it was short notice, and he took that fight on less than a few days, so not going to be too hard on him for that. Steven Peterson, I feel like he should have. I think he won against Arosa, man. In my opinion, it was a
So does
close
he.
fight. Yeah, I agree with him. And obviously he thinks that way. But I thought he won. I thought he did enough. It was a close fight. It was one of the better fights of 2022, if I can remember correctly. And before that, he was on a nice streak. He knocked out Martin Bravo with that spinning back fist. And in between, let me think, who did he beat?
Chase Hooper.
Chase Hooper, yeah, Chase Hooper he beat. So the thing was against Chase Hooper, I think he didn't make weight for that fight, if I can remember correctly. But overall, yeah, man, it's difficult, And the thing is, like, I think it will be a close decision. I think both guys are really competitive with each other, and then I think in mind that this is in San Antonio, Texas.
Yes.
And he is from Fortis MMA, Houston, Texas, right, or Dallas, Texas. It is.
Yeah.
I think will be a decision. I favor Peterson with a close decision, but hey, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the other way. But it's a very competitive one, and I'm looking forward to it. It's, in my opinion, one of the more fun fights on the prelims.
So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that's an interesting point. Because from my perspective, there were really two ways of thinking about this fight. Because yes, it is most likely going to be a very close decision. I was thinking in that regard, let's go with the underdog, close decision. You get better odds if it's a split or something. But you did bring up the Fortis MMA. Steven Peterson's not only just training at Fortis MMA, he's a coach there. He trains a lot of people. He has a satellite gym he works at. He's a very popular guy in the Texas area. And he said they're going to be bringing a lot of people to that crowd. So that could very well sway the judges in a close decision. So I'm still going to go with Lucas Alexander, but I am going to end this little breakdown with bet this one with caution because I think maybe goes to decision or wins by decision might be the best bet here. I just don't have those odds in front of me yet. That's why I brought you on, Marcel. You're a smart guy. You're a smart guy.
sometimes. Not all the time. Not always.
So this next one, though, this is a business move by you, speaking of smart, because this is one you have some stake in. Manel Kopp going up against Alex Perez. I'm on the Manel Kopp side, minus 175. That's my kind of number, anywhere between minus 125, minus 175. If I like him as a favorite, I'll hit that money line all day. I like him here for a lot of reasons, but you are close friends with Alex Perez. So I know I want to let you speak on this first. How do you look at this fight?
Yeah, I don't know if I can say close friends. I'm good with Alex Perez, you know what I mean? So it's like the thing is like I gotta tell you this story actually how I came in contact with Alex Perez if you're interested.
Sure.
I think a Brazilian website posted that Alex Perez was supposed to fight Geraldo de Freitas a few years ago. So I posted this. It was back in the day when I was like nowhere near something, you know, and I just took the fight from somebody and then I posted it with the source on it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So then somebody in the comments tagged Alex Perez. I was like, "Hey, dude, looking forward to see you back." And Alex Perez was like, "Yeah, me too, man, because I have no idea of fighting there." I was like, "What the hell?" You know. So, but I knew Alex was following me, so I DM'd him. I was like, "Dude, is this the wrong thing or something?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, I'd love to fight in 2 months, but my arm is in the brace, so I don't know what the hell is up." So I was like, "Oh, okay, what the hell?" So I went back to the original source who I actually knew, and he was like, Geraldo's coach told me, man, that this is the fight. It's like there was, I think it was Andre Pederneiras to the background. So it's like, okay, that's weird. So I went back to Alex. It's like he knew it from the coach from Geraldo. And he's like, yeah, but I haven't agreed to a fight, dude. This is not true. I say, I believe you. So I took it down. Then the guy comes back to me. He's like, yeah, Andre was mistaken. It was Chris Gutierrez, not Alex Perez. But from that moment, I'm always good with Alex. You know, I talk to him all the time. So and he can take a joke. He's not like super upset or something when you say something like this because sometimes fathers get upset, you know. But he was super cool about it, so I always bring it back up. But yeah, I like Cap as well. Don't get me wrong, man. I think he's a super talented guy. Came from Ryzen. He had a tough beginning in the UFC with 2 losses against Pantoja and against Nicolau. The Nicolau fight was kind of sketchy. Could have gone both ways. I think actually Cap won that fight, but okay. After that, he reinvented pretty much himself, and he looked really good, man. The thing was, he was really like hesitant to throw his strikes in the first 2 fights in his UFC career. It kind of looked like Tyron Woodley at a certain moment. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Tyron had the same thing at a certain moment. So now he's back on track. He's looking to get that top 10, almost top 5 spot, right, against Alex Perez. And Alex Perez is a difficult guy to say anything about, you know, because the thing is like he's pretty much all around, I feel, you know, but in his last fight he got bum rushed by Pantoja like crazy, you know.
Yeah.
Pantoja went to him. I don't think he expected that at all. Before that, the Davison Figueiredo fight, man, I still think, you know, people were like, oh, Davison easily submitted him. But I feel like also people forgot Davison grabbed the cage twice to adjust his
Yeah.
position and get to the submission. And nobody saw that. But there were like just small adjustments to just get into a certain movement. You know what I mean? So the thing is just with Alex Perez, he hasn't fought a lot. You know what I mean? A lot of pullouts, not only because of him, also because of his opponents. COVID was there back then. So man, this fight is difficult, you know. I think both guys have something to offer. You know, I think if it goes to a finish, I favor Manel Kape. If it goes to a decision, I think Alex Perez can win. I think Alex better on the ground. I think Kape might be better standing. You know, so it's pretty much how it goes. I think, but both guys are really like all round. You know, Kape can also be fighting on the ground, and Perez can also strike. But Perez is like he got the wrestling base. I don't know if you know his original nickname from Alex Perez,
What is it?
the decision. So he dropped that one, but I
Good.
always annoy him with it. It's like, hey, the decision, what's up? So yeah, Manel Kape, he's a finisher. We know that. Normally he's a finisher. He goes for the finish. So I would either bet Manel Kape inside the distance or Alex Perez goes the distance. One of the two.
Okay, I love it, man. And like I said, I'm on the Cap side because the odds I love minus 175, and I do
Mhm.
see him winning this fight. I'm a big Alex Perez fan. I've been high on this kid. He's older than me. This guy for a very long time. I've been betting on him for a very long time, but between the ring rust and the misfortune inside the octagon, going up against an opponent who's as hot and as talented as Manel Kape, I have to side with Manel Kape here. But if Alex Perez wins, I'll be happy, man, because he is a title contender who's had some bad luck the past 3 years or so. So hope he can turn it around. Finally, my last bet for the night is my parlay. I've been on a little streak with my parlays. I've been doing pretty good with my parlays. If Sam Patterson would have done a little bit better last week, I would have been like 5 for 5, but it's okay. Still love you, Sam. Anyways, this week's parlay, I'm going with Tucker Lutz and Nate Landwehr. That's minus 275 for Lutz, minus 200 for Landwehr. Put it together, plus 104 on BetMGM. Do you like my parlay?
No.
No.
No, it's not like I don't like it, but I wouldn't parlay it myself. There's no way
Okay.
to do it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's I mean it's a possible parlay. You know, let's start with Lutz against Pineda. I really think that's a hit or miss, man. To be really honest, you know, I think Lutz is decent, but I'm still not really how do you say that?
Convinced?
Convinced. Yeah. Same goes for Pineda, man. Pineda is a guy. His two biggest wins were in PFL against Kai Bulayev and Kennedy, and they both got overturned in the no contest because of he used something, you know.
Yeah.
So his two biggest wins are scrapped off his record pretty much. Came back to the UFC, did well against Herbert Burns, man, in his comeback, you know. And
everyone seems to be doing well against Herbert Burns.
yeah. Landwehr didn't, but
True.
yeah. So I mean, and the thing is with Pineda, like he got suspended again, I think, you know. I don't know what's up. So, but I think if he can find a way he fought before, he can win the fight, you know. That's how I feel about this fight. So for me, it's like a hit or miss. Pineda can win the fight. Lutz can also. That's why it's a close fight. And I wouldn't bet on it personally, but if you feel comfortable, definitely do. Landwehr Lingo, that's going to be a crazy fight, dude, because Landwehr only knows one way, and that's 100% forward with no defense and going full crazy.
Yep.
And we also know Lingo loves to strike and bang as well. So there's going to be an absolute banger, you know. There's a very smart fight by the UFC, put this on the main card. We know it was Landwehr against Caceres first, but now it's Lingo. I'm happy for Lingo. He gets another shot because Ramos was overweight 8 pounds.
Crazy.
Yeah. And also Lingo fights pretty much at home with Fortis MMA fighter as well. So he's also in Texas. Yep. I'm siding here with Landwehr. I think he has more upside. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed with Landwehr. Definitely with the Ludovic Klein fight. That is, for me, his most impressive fight so far in the UFC.
Onama was impressive.
It was, but for me, Klein was the most impressive, and I'll tell you why. Because I think Klein was one of the biggest favorites on that card back then. And I was sure, I remember I was talking to Adam Martin in the podcast. I was like, this is like pretty much a lock for me, you know, Leighton and for Ludovic Klein against Nate Landwehr. Nate Landwehr absolutely did amazing in that fight and even got the finish, you know. So, and the Onama fight, he had a bad first round, you know, but after that, he turned it around. Second, third round, Onama was gassed as hell and he did crazy. Landwehr did the Landwehr, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I'm on Landwehr here. I think he has a great gas tank as well. I'm thinking him. I'm going with decision, man. I think Lingo can hold on for 3 rounds, but I go with decision. That will be a very fun one, man. I think this might be a fight of the night candidate.
So, my Lutz. Let me explain my Lutz pick.
Yeah.
One, I mean, Lutz is 28 years old and Pineda is 37 years old. Mm-hmm. This is just a statistic I'd like to throw out there because I think it's relevant. When a fighter is 8+ years younger, they win at a 65% clip. Statistics, you can take it into account or you don't have to. I certainly am. I just see Tucker Lutz going out here, doing what he does best, and wrestling Daniel Pineda for 3 rounds for a decision. I think Pineda, between the inactivity, the suspensions, the no contest, having 2 UFC fights since 2014, I think it's a recipe disaster for the 37-year-old. But I do agree it's probably the closer fight of my parlay because I think Landwehr is absolutely going to dog over Lingo. Lingo taking it on short notice. Landwehr's Landwehr. He's an absolute freak and a beast. Sure, Lingo is in camp for the what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago when his fight got canceled. So he's still fresh, but I just think Landwehr is everywhere this fight goes, especially on the short notice. And even though Austin Lingo is Fortis fighting at home, gonna have the home crowd, you know for a fact, bro, after that first round, Nate Landwehr is gonna be getting some chants in Texas, because who the hell doesn't chant for Nate the Great Landwehr? We'll see. Close parlay.
Sure.
Do you have any bets I didn't bring up, buddy?
Let me think. I really like Macy Barber in her fight against Andrea Lee.
I was thinking about parlaying her.
Yeah, I really like her because I think she's like very aggressive. She comes forward. Andrea Lee, I think she looked good against Viviane Araújo in her last fight in the first round, but then she faded after almost knocking out Araújo in the first round. But Barber with her wrestling, with her how do you say that, with her aggressiveness, I think she gets a decision win against Andrea Lee. So that's one of the picks I'm pretty sure about. The co-main event, I'm pretty sure about Holly Holm. Keeps it technical, keeps a lot of dirty boxing again against the cage like she always does, and gets a decision victory. So and I'm very uncharacteristically for me, I'm going against a Russian fighter in the opening fight of the main card. I'm going with Shidi. I think Shidi knocks him out, to be really honest. Listen, man, I think Duraev was like a real good prospect a few years ago, and I think the UFC went too late on him.
I agree.
I think he was really good in the ACB, where he's a double champion. UFC came just 3 or 4 years too late for him, and you see in his fights like he is like fading sometimes after one round. You know what I mean? You saw it against Buckley; he was really fading after one round, and Buckley finished him, or he didn't continue anymore. And also against Kopilov in his debut, man, first 2 rounds were pretty okay, but third round was bad. So, and with Shidi, we know Shidi fades sometimes as well, but Shidi hits hard. You know what I mean? So if Albert doesn't use his wrestling, he's be in trouble, I think. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. We'll see.
So if you replace Tucker Lutz in my parlay and put Macy Barber in with Nate Landwehr, that's still plus 104. So that's something to consider. And then Macy Barber by decision is minus 125, which I really like. And then I like Chidi too. I especially like Chidi by knockout, which is right now plus 100 on BetMGM. I think that's playable. And then what was the other pick? Oh, you said you're thinking about Holly Holm and Yana Santos, Kunitskaya. I'm not touching that fight. I'm not betting on any women MMA who are 41 years old and coming off of a baby. But hey, Marcel, you do you, brother.
Yeah, it's probably also not plus money. I don't think Holly decision is not plus money.
Holly decision right now is sitting at minus 115.
Yeah,
so just to sit back and enjoy that one. My wallet's going to take that fight off. Marcel, my man, that's all I got. Thank you so much for joining, dude. Really appreciate it. And everybody, check out Marcel at Big Marcel24, or although you probably already follow him, check out Tapped Out Saturday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. And let's win some money, people. Let's win some money. Marcel, kick ass, brother, and have a good day.